Here's a peek at what guests had to say after the show.
Okay, we're back here on the internet with questions for the panel. Radley, are cops spying on people now more than they used to? Spying on people. Cops doing that too?
Yes, mostly because of technology. They can access your cell phone pretty easily now. We've also seen some really crazy stuff going on in NYPD with spying on some of the the mosques and some of the Muslim groups.
They have their own CIA, the New York police, right?
Right, they do. And then we've got Maryland. There are stories in Maryland of police infiltrating sort of anti-war movements and very sort of non-threatening protest groups. So yeah, there is. There's always a danger of hearkening back to a Pollyanna-ish time that never existed. I mean, Nixon did quite a lot of spying. The police in that era were not nearly as sort of...
right, it was the technology, because, J. Edgar Hoover taped Martin Luther King, but they had to put like an actual reel-to-reel tape machine under his bed.
But I would also,
Really, right, didn't they?
There's a guy down there.
Yeah, there's a guy.
But it works both ways, though, right? I mean, we now have, it's hard to overstate how powerful it is that all of us are carrying a camera in our pocket now that can, not only record, but can instantly stream video and audio to off-site servers.
I've also heard when you turn it off, it's not really completely
Well, there's
off.
that problem, too, yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah, it can.
Wow.
They can turn your phone on remotely. Yeah.
Now, I got a picture of my car going through a red light. I got that in the mail.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
spying?
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah.
That's dirty pool. I hate that. They're all over LA doing that.
Yep.
I think if you make it through the red light, you should be in.
You should be rewarded.
And some of those have been used
That
in like
bothers
divorce
me a lot.
cases.
But
And
technology is also helping in the sense that police officers, you can have a camera so you can monitor your interactions with civilians, which is a huge improvement.
Right.
Oh, well, and I think generally, again, this fact that we all have a camera, you can record your interactions with cops. I mean, the Arab Spring, we saw, governments have been cracking down on dissent since the dawn of time, and we actually saw real-time video and photos of governments, killing people who were protesting. I mean, that's amazing. That's how powerful that is.
Okay. Is Elizabeth Warren a serious 2016 contender, or is she too inexperienced on non-fiscal issues? No, I don't think so. But, she's obviously the one that the more left Democrats would prefer to the centrist Clinton presidency. Anybody here would endorse that? Who if you had your choice, Ezra, who would you be for? Hillary Clinton or?
I don't pick candidates.
Oh, look at you!
Because it won't be Hillary anyway.
Suddenly, Mr. Politician, but you don't have a personal preference?
No. First, we've not seen either of them run. To just do a choice between Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton now, what is Elizabeth Warren's foreign policy, right? Like, how do you make even the choice if you were going to without knowing any of that? So, but broadly speaking, I think my job is not to tell people who to vote for.
I think people are underestimating Elizabeth Warren for this reason. The notion that I've heard is that Barack Obama was unique because he united college-educated white social liberals and African-American voters, which is very potent in a Democratic primary, whereas Elizabeth Warren can only get one half of that. But I think that that's underestimating the level of discontent that there is among Democrats, period, and the openness that people might have to someone who is running an unconventional campaign who's not an overly familiar face. I also think that people have too kind of narrow a view of what African-American voters think, what they're like, who they're going to gravitate towards. I think it's quite possible that they might be willing to, embrace a white, staunch progressive. Yeah, I see no reason.
I think so, and she'll be the populist candidate for sure, measured against Hillary. But I think it would be refreshing for Democrats if they want a populist candidate to go to someone who's actually very progressive, very liberal, not necessarily on all these huge government takeover issues. I mean, she's a big financial services person. I would like to see a progressive from my home state. I see Feingold come back. He was a good last anti-war liberal. I want to see him come back and really rally the base around those issues that used to be very important to the left and don't seem to be anymore.
I'd like to see somebody from the left who gives a damn about civil liberties. I mean, to actually give a voice to people on those issues.
I'd like to see somebody from the right who gives a damn about civil liberties besides Rand Paul.
Yeah.
The last one before that was Bob Barr. What?
We used to have one. Who's yours?
What do you mean?
We have Rand Paul. Who's yours?
You're right. You're right.
Ron Wyden. You've got some decent
Wyden's
people.
good.
Wyden, I think, gets a lot of credit on a lot of.
He's not about to run for president.
No, he's not running for president.
He's awesome.
Does Arnold Schwarzenegger actually have any chance at all in getting the Constitution changed so he can run in 2016? Is he trying to?
Maybe if he and Ted Cruz ally themselves, they can really...
Steamroller. Schwarzenegger is a shoo-in for 2016.
Is he thinking? I mean, his last couple of movies have tanked, right?
Is that Arnold himself asking the
Yeah, you'd never work
wrote
with him, would you? Charles Schwarzenegger, if they are, I mean, you're...
Oh, no, I wouldn't. Call.
I was going to say to you on the show, I forgot, but your cast in this movie is like an all-star cast of the most intense actors of all time. All the people I think of as like the super intense guys. You, Christian Bale, Willem Dafoe, Woody Harrelson, Forrest Whitaker's in there.
Yeah, great. Well, you're not mentioning Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn also. They're all in there.
The real serious.
Very funny film.
Will the Affordable Care Act failures end Republican infighting, or will it energize the Tea Party? Well, of course it will energize the Tea Party.
Do you want to talk about? I mean, we can take that
I'm
ball,
not even going to
but
answer that. As part of the debt negotiation, should Republicans give in a little to sequester cuts?
Well, I think they'd certainly be willing to, and I think that Ezra actually wrote a really great piece on this about how Democrats, about how Democrats should give up on tax increases and focus on the sequester because that's their main priority now. That really forces liberals to give up their main priorities by trying to keep the size of government bigger. And I think Republicans are open to negotiating on sequester, but it would be in exchange for
aiming to run for office.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would also reframe
he
that.
will not even say whether he prefers Elizabeth Warren over Hillary
He's
Clinton.
a journalist.
I won't
He's
do
an
that. I'm a
objective
journalist. But I will say that what I argued in the article, which I do believe strongly, is that one, Democrats in terms of sequestration lost on the idea that they could get taxes in return for it. But two, that the right deal here should actually expand. We have a very narrow conception of what matters in the budget. Immigration reform would be great for the budget. And I would take immigration reform over all kinds of budget compromises. Energy taxes, if you could get anything into a carbon tax,
but
right?
you know why
that
I'm
would
not
matter
that
a lot.
unhappy immigration reform isn't going through? Because there's $46 billion in that bill for police on the border. It's just another way to keep going this military-industrial complex, the military-police-industrial complex.
Yep.
Now it's the border police-industrial complex.
So I'll be the
but
only
it's
person.
more
11
money to people who want.
It's 11 million people here who are harder for police to screw with now.
So
right?
I'll be
Like that.
I'll be the only person on this panel, I'm sure, who says that the big problem with sequester is the nature of the military cuts that you're going to see. They're going to get a lot more severe. And I think if you look at the situation in Benghazi, for example, diplomatic security. If you look at the ability to pre-position assets, I definitely agree that there's a lot of wasteful spending in the military. But I think that the way these sequester cuts are going to work out is going to be very, very destructive for setting sensible priorities. So I think that Republicans are going to need to make concessions if they want to preserve a.
But
military
absent
that can
something
do its
like the
job.
sequester, the Defense Department will never prioritize. It doesn't have to. So that's why you need something as severe as. I'm not saying sequester is very
I'm not saying that you don't
inelegant.
need
It's
expenditure
not a good way to
cuts,
do it.
but I think that
It's not a good way to do it, but at overall spending level, obviously, I think is something both conservatives and
I think that's a
liberals
fair
will rely
point.
on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Audience, I appreciate you helping us out.
Real Time with Bill Maher, Friday night at 10. Ask Bill and his guests your questions right after the show at HBO.com.